Summer is made for sandals. Just like we're shedding our clothes when the heat starts to rise, we're also starting to shed our foot coverings as well. And let's be honest, we all want to wear the cute sandals, but oftentimes those cute sandals lead to back pain, foot pain, ankle pain, and hip pain. Not to mention blisters that are on your toes, your heels, or even the side of your feet. Yet, when we look at the alternative from the cute sandals we want to wear, all we see is a sea of fugly ones. You know what I'm talking about, right? The fugly sandals, the ones that really aren't that stylish, but they're really, really comfortable. But the problem is that they can feel like part of a Sesame Street song, especially in regards to your outfit. They can kind of feel like the what one thing doesn't belong here when you're putting together a great outfit. Perfect shirt, perfect bottom, fugly sandal. So what do? Do you wear the fugly sandals that look like they were designed by a male orthopedic surgeon? Or do you deal with the back pain and the foot pain and the ankle pain and the hip pain in order to wear a stylish one? But what if we could have it both? Stylish and comfortable. I'm not telling lies. It's actually possible to have both things. When you look for 5 distinct attributes on your sandals, I promise you that not only can they be stylish, but they can be supportive and comfortable too. And by the end of this video, my friends, you're gonna know exactly what to look for. Say bye-bye, fugly sandals, and say hello to the stylish ones. Let's get started. Hey everybody, it's Kelly Snyder from Adore Your Wardrobe, and if this is your first episode, I just want to say welcome. I am so glad you are here. I run an online fashion education program called Adore Your Wardrobe, and I've been doing it for the last 8 years. I have helped thousands of women demystify fashion by learning how to dress their unique body type through formulas that are based on math and science. In my program, I break down the formulas of how to put together a great outfit, including the styles, cuts, colors, and accessories. In this episode of the Adore Your Wardrobe Show, I am going to be sharing with you the 5 attributes to look for comfortable and supportive sandals. In addition to that, I'm actually going to give you visual examples of what to look for in a flat form, in a heel, in a flat sandal, or a flip-flop. My goal by the end of this video is that I want to give you as many details as possible to make you an empowered shopper. Details matter, especially when it comes to shoes, and the more information you have, the more and greater chance you're going to have of picking a sandal that is not only stylish, but one that feels comfortable and supportive on your foot as well. And I'm going to have links to all of the sandals that I'm showing you today at the very end. All right, let's get started. First, let me start by saying that comfort is relative. So you may have feet issues that outweigh anything that I'm going to talk about today, and that's okay. Because as one podiatrist told me, you know what? You only know your level of pain. So if it hurts, quit doing it, but if it doesn't hurt, then keep wearing it. Each person's definition of what feels supportive and comfortable is going to be different. But in general, the attributes that I'm going to show you today makes a sandal more supportive and more comfortable. All right, the 5 attributes for a supportive sandal are: number 1, arch support; number 2, a stiff or sturdy sole; number 3, a slight elevation at the heel, but it cannot be over 2 inches; number 4, you need cushion near your problem areas. That's usually the ball of your feet or at your heel. And then number 5 is that you have to have at least 2 points of foot stability. Ideally, you have more. There's 5 total that you can choose from, but a supportive and comfortable sandal is at least going to have 2 of those. What's great is that these 5 attributes are going to hold true regardless of how casual or how dressy your sandal is. And the great thing about these 5 points is that they have nothing to do with style. It's all about very specific details. So again, you're going to find these attributes on super casual sandals, and you're going to find these attributes on beautiful dress shoes. All right, number 1 on our list was arch support. Okay, so arch support is designed to provide extra cushioning under the arches of your foot, right? What it does is creates just a little bit more support in that arch to give your foot a good and stable position. It helps actually prevent the foot from either rolling inward or rolling outward. Not having rolling is so important is that if you don't have that and your foot is starting to slide or starting to roll, your toes actually overcompensate for that. And so if you get foot pain at night after wearing certain kinds of shoes, more than likely is that your toes are doing this to create that stability and putting extra strain on your foot. The other thing is that arch support is going to be specific to the wearer. So some people need a little bit of arch support and some people need a lot of arch support. Only you are going to know exactly how much arch support that you're going to need, but in general, most people need at least some. All right, so how do we spot arch support? So the easiest way to do it is to take a look at your shoe and look on it straight on. And you're gonna see that on the inside of the shoe that there is going to be a higher arch support on it versus the other side. That's the easiest way. So when you're shopping for shoes, you can kind of just take a look and say, okay, does this shoe have a little bit of support on it? Then it's gonna have more arch support. The other thing you can do is you can touch it. So if you wanna touch on the inside, you're gonna feel that it's going to be higher on the inside, again, the part that's going onto the inside of your leg, than on the outer. Again, that is the other kind of like telltale that this one has arch support. All right, number 2 attribute is a stiff or sturdy sole. So a stiff and sturdy sole allows your foot to be protected and have stability when you walk. There's less chance of your foot rolling or your toes overcorrecting, again, when that sole is stiff. So, and I don't want you to confuse sturdy and stiff with necessarily a hardwood plank. There's tons of shoes out there that are going to feel sturdy, but aren't necessarily going to be like hard like concrete. Number 3 is that you want a heel elevation, but no more than 2 inches. So a shoe that has a slight heel or wedge places less strain and tension on your Achilles tendon and your plantar fascia, which is the ligament that's at the bottom of your foot. Again, that slight elevation puts your foot in its natural state, so it has the natural arch that's already there. There's many ways to get that slight elevation and get that little bit of height without having to lose comfort. I'm going to show you some options here in a minute, but I really want you not to be scared when I say that you need to have a little heel height. It is totally possible to do that and still have the comfort that you crave. Attribute number 4 is you want cushion near your problem areas. And usually that's at like the balls of your feet, which is near the toes, or at the heel, or both. All right, so this one is pretty self-explanatory, right? Like having extra cushion at these 2 pressure points helps create a more comfortable sandal. Again, it's super easy to look for a sandal as you're shopping and just go ahead and pick it up and just kind of squeeze at the toes and squeeze again at the heels. If you feel just a little bit of give at either one of those places, that means it has extra cushion for you. Okay, attribute number 5 is the 5 points of stability. So in general, you want to have your shoe to have at least 2 of these points, but the more points of stability you have in your sandal, the more stable and more comfortable it is going to be. So essentially what points of stability do is they make sure that your sandal stays on your foot. And when your sandal stays on your foot, there's less chance of sliding, there's less chance of rolling. It also makes a more comfortable experience because your foot isn't necessarily gripping or rubbing in certain places to create hot areas. It really just makes a more comfortable fit for your foot. And the 5 points of stability are at the toe, at the heel, at the ankle, at the top of the foot, and traction on the sole. Okay, so that's a lot of information, and I am a visual person, so I thought it would be great if I go ahead and give you some visual examples of what all I'm talking about so you can see what it looks like for a shoe to have all of these different attributes and still be stylish. Okay, first up is our ZZ from Naturalizer. So the pair that I have in my hands right now, this is a really fun gold metallic. Metallics have been on trend for this spring and summer, probably are going to be that way for fall as well. This is a great casual sandal. It's gonna work with lots of different clothing. So your skirts, your shorts, your ankle pants, your dresses, your skirts, your rompers, your jeans, you name it, this shoe's gonna go with them. Okay, let's break it down for the 5 attributes. All right, point number 1. Does this shoe have arch support? Yes, it does. You can see that as you look on the inside of it, that it has a little bit of a raised area right there. And we can feel the difference. So we know that there's some arch support there. All right, point number 2. Does it have a stiff or sturdy sole? I can't bend this baby at all. So you can see that like there's no bend going on. So it's definitely stiff and sturdy. Point number 3, does it have a slight elevation at the heel? It does. So looking at the shoe, you may be like, really, Kel? I'm not sure that has any elevation, but it actually does. So this is a great example of a flat form with a slight raise. And you can see that this flat form at the toe, it's going to measure about 1.5 inches, but at the heel, it's 2 inches. So we're seeing about 1/2 inch of elevation, which is fine. We just need that slight bit of elevation. But again, that little bit of extra elevation at the heel is going to provide you with more comfort. And here's my pro tip for you. This is also why you can never trust websites and you need to do your own due diligence. Websites will oftentimes confuse heel height with heel elevation, and they'll just list it as one measurement. So for example, in this particular shoe on the website, it listed it as having a 2-inch heel. But we all know that a 2-inch heel, if it's a stiletto, is very different than a 2-inch heel if it's a flat form. So again, do your due diligence, get out your measuring tape and measure so that you can see if it has the elevation. But as you can see, this is something that's not going to necessarily raise your heel super high. Do we have cushion in our problem areas? So I'm going to squeeze it, and there's definitely cushion at the heel and at the toe. So check mark for that one. And finally, does it have at least 2 points of foot stability? Well, this shoe actually has more than that. So it has a strap here at the toe for stability. It has it at the top of the foot. It has it at the heel with this ankle strap. It has it at the ankle with this ankle strap. And as we flip it over, we can see that there's traction on the tread. So if I were shopping for shoes, this shoe hits every mark. So not only does it have all the 5 attributes, but it actually has 5 points of stability on top of it. And I try it on because it has a higher than average chance of being a really comfortable shoe. And I actually have tried this shoe on, and it is amazingly super comfortable. All right, the next shoe that I want to talk about is a little bit more of a dressier option. And the reason I want to do this is nothing makes me sadder than seeing a woman who's put in a ton of effort into her outfit. She's dressed really nicely at an event, and then she's wearing a too casual, comfortable sandal. And it just kind of ruins the whole look. Like, I can tell she put so much effort into her outfit, but because she doesn't have the right sandal, it just kind of lessens the way that the whole outfit looks. And I tend to think that the reason that she's wearing the too casual sandal is that she actually thought that there wasn't really a way for her to have a dressier option that was also going to be comfortable too. It is harder to find dressier sandals, but again, when you look for the 5 attributes, it isn't impossible. So both of these sandals that I have today, one is the Myrna from Corkies and the other one is the Farah from Soft. Both of these would be appropriate for a dressier outfit. So think like a casual dress that you're wearing to a nice restaurant, or maybe a wedding shower that you're invited to, or even a really casual reception. Both of these sandals would give you a dressier option than like a regular flat sandal. Arch support on both of these is a check. Again, you can see the elevation here on this shoe. So again, we're having that little bit of a rise. And this one does as well. This one is a little bit more sneakier. Normally we see the elevation really on the shoe, but this one I actually had to feel in order to feel that rise. So both of these have arch support. Stiff or sturdy sole, not moving. We're not having the taco happen here on either one of these shoes. Super sturdy, super supportive. Check, check. So the heel elevation on the Myrna is only 3/4 of an inch, right? So you're only looking at 1/4 of an inch higher than that flat form, but it looks way higher because of the way this shoe is designed. So this is a great option for a dressier shoe without having to have a super high heel height. Okay, so the Farah is actually a platform because the heel height in the back is a 1-inch difference between the toe. So this is a situation in which the toe is right at 1 inch and the back, I think it's 1.5 inches, and the back of it is 2.5 inches. shoes, so you're going to have about a 1-inch heel height, which makes it a platform instead of a flatform. But still, overall, it's a very low heel elevation at only the inch, and again, just gives a really nice look to the shoe. All right, next attribute. Does it have cushion at our problem areas? And this is a check for both. Again, you can squeeze down at the toe and at the heel. We're seeing cushion at both places for both shoes. Cushion. Fifth attribute is foot stability. Remember, we're trying to go for at least 2, but preferably we would like to have more. So this is a situation where we have foot stability at the toe and we have it at the top of the foot because of this crisscross pattern that's going on right here. We have it at the heel and at the ankle, and then we've got traction at the bottom of the shoe. And we have it in both. So again, we've got the toe, top of the foot, heel, ankle, traction. So this crisscross pattern here at the top with the crisses that angle a little bit farther back, as you guys can see right here, that is going to give you more stability at the top of your foot without necessarily having to have this big strap that would go over the top. So when you're looking for a shoe that maybe has a little bit more open at the top, but you still want to have that stability, that top of the foot stability, again, look for something that either has a wider strap at the toe so it goes farther back, or one that is angled, so again, it's going to cover more of your foot. Both of these shoes are a great option for dressier occasions. It provides you with a dressier option, plus the design, again, of the crisscross gives you that full stability, again, because that cross is coming all the way back, so you get the stability and comfort that you're looking for, but you don't have to give up on style. You can use what you just learned on any kind of shoe. So if you have the need for a dressier sandal, maybe you're going to a formal, maybe you're the mother of the bride or the grandmother of bride, remember all these things because those little details are going to make it so that you have a really dressy sandal that you're going to enjoy wearing at your event. This is another pair from Naturalizer Drift. They're very casual, similar to a flip-flop, and they're also a slide, and slides are super on trend and popular right now. All right, number 1 is that arch support. Check again. So again, you can see on the inside, we have a little bit of elevation, and then you can also feel it as you touch it as well. Point number 2 is a stiff or sturdy sole. So again, this one's a little bit more bendable than we've seen in the other ones, but still, I'm not really able to bend it like a taco, so it's still going to provide the stability that we want, and it's going to be comfortable too. Number 3 is, does it have slight elevation at the heel? And it does. So this is an example of a flat form with a slight raise. So the flat form at the toe is 1¼ inches, and at the back it is 2 inches. So this is an example of a shoe that has a heel elevation of 3/4 of an inch. All right, does it have cushion at the problem areas? It does. It's got cushion at the toes and at the heels. Check. And finally, let's see how many points of foot stability it has. So it has a strap at the toe. It has a strap on the top of the foot, so we've got 2 right there. It doesn't, however, have any straps at the heel or at the ankle, and it does have traction on the bottom, so it gets 3 points. So this shoe is going to be comfortable for its style, right? So when you have a slide, you are never going to have those 2 points of stability at the ankle and at the heel. So essentially, most of the time, you're only going to have one that's at the toe. And so when you're wearing slides, you're going to have to figure out how are you going to get an additional point of stability. So the easiest way to do that is through traction. So if you have a pair of slides that you really like, go ahead and flip it over and see if there's any traction on the sole. That's going to give you that 1 more point for stability to make it a little bit better of a shoe. Now, the other thing that you can do if you can't find necessarily a pair of slides that have the traction, which again is the easiest, you want to look for a situation in which the toe strap again comes farther back. So similar to the crisscross pattern that I was showing you earlier with the other shoe, you want to have something in which the strap is going to come a little bit farther back so it goes to more on the top of your foot. That's another way to get just a little bit more stability, but again, the easiest way, traction on the bottom. Okay, and finally, I wanted to show you guys an example of just because the brand is amazing doesn't mean that the shoe is amazing. Okay, this is the Hope slingback from Naturalizer. So this is the third pair of shoes that I've shown from Naturalizer. I told you guys earlier that I really do like Naturalizer. I think they're a great brand for comfort and stability. And I think it's important for us to kind of call this shoe out a little bit, because sometimes we believe that if we buy a shoe from a particular brand, it's always going to be comfortable, it's always going to be supportive, and that's not necessarily true. So brands out there like Naturalizer, Bionic, Born, Clark, White Mountain, or Eco, all of them generally put out really great shoes, but every now and again, there's some ones that are just duds, and you're not going to know that unless you know what you're looking for. So let's break it down why these Hope slingbacks are kind of a dud of a shoe. Okay, attribute number one is arch support, and these do have it. You guys can see on the inside of the shoe, we've got a little bit of arch support, and again, I can feel it as well. So for arch support, they get a positive check. All right, attribute number two is the stiff or sturdy sole. Nope. All right, so this shoe is bendable. Is it necessarily as bendable as, say, an Old Navy flip-flop? No, but still, it's really bendable. In comparison to all the other shoes I've shown you today, this one bends the most. All right, point number three, does it have a slight elevation at the heel? Nope. So we got two ahs already. This shoe is flat, like pancake flat, like flat, 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 flat. And when I put it on, I could totally feel it. I kept feeling that like my heel kept trying to raise and my toes kept trying to curl because my foot naturally wanted to be in just this little bit of elevation, and this shoe didn't have any of it. It was super, super, super flat. Next attribute, does it have cushion in our problem areas? And this gets a check. Ding, ding, ding. So we have cushion here at the toe and at the heel, again, providing you just that little bit more comfort, so it definitely has that. All right, and our final one that we're looking for is foot stability. So looking at it, we've got stability here at the toe. We have it in looks at the top of the foot. I'm going to talk about this in a little bit, why this shoe actually doesn't have that much stability here at the top of the foot, even though it looks like it. It has it at the heel for sure. It doesn't have it at the ankle, but yes, there's traction at the bottom of the shoe. So even though this got 3 yeses, so it has 3 points, but not 5, I really felt like this shoe was one of the most uncomfortable that I put on of everything that I showed you. Part of it was because my foot kept sliding. So as you guys can see, even though it looks like this would go over the top of my foot, because it's not connected over here and this is so far back, my foot kept sliding out of the shoe, kind of giving that rub, and then my toes were overcompensating it. I really do feel like if the sole had been a little bit more sturdy, so I wouldn't have had necessarily that so much bend where my toe necessarily had to overcompensate, it could have been a comfortable shoe. But the fact of the matter is it was too bendable for me. I didn't like that. I didn't like the way that the strap was on the angle at all, and the fact that the points of stability were a little bit less than they needed to, and there was no heel elevation, made this one a kind of shoe. All right, before I go, I just want to give you a couple of more tips for being able to purchase your summer sandals. Number one is that understanding that pain from shoes is not just about your heels or the bottom of your feet hurting. Pain from shoes can come up in many different ways. Sometimes it's in our ankles, sometimes it's in our hips, sometimes it's in our shins, sometimes it's in our knees. So if you have a situation where you may wear a pair of shoes and your feet don't necessarily hurt, but other parts do, it's probably time to look into buying more supportive sandals than you currently are. The second point I want to bring up is that your shoes should be comfortable the moment you put them on. I feel like as a kid, I was always told, oh, just wear those, you know, they'll stretch out over time. Or things were said when I would put on sandals of like, oh, that spot just needs to wear down a little bit, then it won't give you a blister. Ladies, we are past that age. So if you put that pair of shoes on and you can feel like a little hot spot happening already, or it feels tight on your toes or on the top of your foot or on your heels, that pair of shoes is not for you. Put it back. Find another pair. We are too old to be thinking it will just stretch out, or you know what, they'll be fine later on. We're too old to be doing that. The third piece of advice I could give you is if your feet swell by the end of the day, mine are some that do that, you want to make sure that you're shoe shopping at the end of the day, not at the beginning of the day, or else your sandals will become uncomfortable. If you're in a situation where you're not sure you can make that happen, just going up usually a half of a size is going to give you that leeway that you need for your swelling. Finally, a supportive and stylish sandal is an investment. The craftsmanship, that attention to detail, the quality of the materials really does matter. It's going to make it a more expensive shoe than an Old Navy flip-flop. But I promise you, your body will thank you, because at the end of the day, you are going to have a faster recovery than you would be if you were wearing a really cruddy sandal. All right, friends, I hope I have argued my case for why none of us needs to settle for the FUGLY sandal, all right? There are cute options available for wide feet and narrow feet and regular feet, people with long toes and short toes and narrow heels and everything in between. And the key is knowing what to look for. And remember, my friends, I want to make it as easy as possible. Click the link below in the description and I will send you my free 2024 Summer Ready Guide. All I need is your first name and email address. The guide contains links to the sandals that I showed today, plus additional information on my summer must-haves for all body types. Remember, friends, fashion isn't about buying more stuff, it's about buying the right stuff. And we all deserve to have a wardrobe we adore, full of items that fit and flatter and make us feel amazing every day that we wear them. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. God bless and take care. And I'll see you next time with more fashion tips. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.